Hey guys, what is up? Ncaa 31 here. Opening weekend of the college football season. I am bringing you Ncaa 14 online ranked. Notre Dame, Oregon. I'm cheating. I'm using Everett Golson in my power rate offense. I only made the offense with him in mind, so I might as well see what it would have looked like if he had stayed in school. Or hadn't gotten suspended, I should say. But I am here actually watching SMU and Texas Tech, the air raid versus the run and shoot, or the run and raid, as SMU seems to be going with this collaboration between June Jones and Hal Mumm. And what I feared might happening is happening here in this opener. They seem to be clashing, not really clashing, but it's a mishmash between both styles, and neither one is doing that great. They're kind of getting in each other's way right now, but they'll work it out. I mean, June and Mom aren't dummies. They'll figure out that sucker and get it clicking. And, you know, as the game is going on, it's looked a little bit better. But, you know, Garrett Gilbert is doing some things right now. But I was watching South Carolina, North Carolina. You know, typical North Carolina. Every year you hear about North Carolina's top 10, top 15 recruiting classes and their great facilities. And what ends up happening? Every year they lay eggs, and every year they're, you know, playing in some December 20th.com bowl with six or seven wins. Just vintage North Carolina. But while I was watching that game, I'm sitting there watching Jadeveon Clowney and just thinking to myself, what a shame that this kid is wasting away in school still when he should be earning an NFL paycheck. But because of the rules, he's got to stay in this year. And as a result, he's going to see a whole heck of a lot of what he saw the other day, where he's taking on half the offensive line by himself, because no one is going to leave him on an island if they can help it. He's too good. He's completely unblockable at the college level one-on-one. The guy he reminds me of, you know, just by the way he's built, the way he moves, his body type, he reminds me of Simeon Rice, but a little bit bigger. But he's got the same type of game. Speed rusher, great athlete, great burst. I mean, Simeon Rice was no bum. He was the 3rd overall pick in the draft when he came out. He had 122 career sacks, was the Big Ten record holder in career sacks. He was a very, very good player. And that's the kind of guy he reminds me of. I think he's better than Simeon Rice athletically. Just a phenomenal player. My goodness, he's scary how good he is. The Ole Miss kid I was anxious to see. That Ole Miss Vandy game was a great, great game. And I kind of, you know, have a liking to Vandy. I love their coach. He's the kind of guy who I would have loved to play for. I would love to send my kid to play for that kind of coach. He just seems like a good guy and a guy who really gets the most out of his, you know, his players. But, you know, the Ole Miss kid, his name escapes me at the moment. What the heck is his name? Heck, let me just look it up. Robert Nkemdiche, that's his name. He's an impressive looking guy. I mean, he's built a little bit more like, I don't know. Well, the first thing that came to mind is like he's kind of built like Stephon Tuitt. You know, he's a 300-pounder, but he's got the athleticism of a guy who's 30 pounds lighter. You know, different player than Tuitt. Tuitt's more of a power player. But, you know, he's got some good skills, and Ole Miss will probably be on probation within 3 or 4 years, given the recruiting classes they're reeling in and the recruits they're reeling in. I mean, you just don't recruit like that at Ole Miss. You know, something's going to pop up, and that thing is going to unravel. You just know it's coming. It's a matter of when. And speaking of which, I'd love to see Tennessee be relevant again, but have you seen their schedule? They're at Oregon and at Florida in consecutive weeks. They're on the road against Alabama. They have Georgia and South Carolina at home at least, but ugh. Are they winning any of those games? Don't know. Don't know. The big game this weekend, Clemson, Georgia. Georgia always lets me down in a big game, so I am going to go Clemson in that one. Too much experience, too much tempo, too much speed on offense against a defense that has some guys they need to replace. What do I expect out of my Fighting Irish this year? I expect a lot of defense and a lot of handoffs. That's pretty much it. At least until a wide receiver emerges. I mean, you got TJ Jones, who's solid. I mean, he's not great, but Notre Dame had two guys who they were going to rely on to make some pretty big things happen. Transfer. Justin Ferguson and Devontae Neal. DeVaris Daniels is still there, and he showed some signs of growing up late in the season. But, you know, losing Everett for the season really hurts. That's going to be a killer. I happen to be a Tommy Rees fan and a Tommy Rees apologist. I like the guy, but he's the kind of quarterback who needs the talent around him to help him out. So until a guy or guys emerge that can, you know, be a security blanket for him, I see a lot of running. Rumor has it that there's going to be some pistol in the old Brian Kelly spread. And the defense, I think, is going to be fine. And despite Pateo not being there, I think their front seven is still going to be physical. And I expect their secondary at the corners to be better. It's impossible to be worse. And they still had a very good defense. I usually don't like to take the easy way out, but I think we're headed towards a Urban Meyer, Nick Saban collision course. And I think A.J. McCarron is going to win the Heisman Trophy. I think this is Saban's best offensive team. I think A.J. is going to be able to put up some nice numbers. He's a guy who's proven himself to be a, you know, low mistake, high efficiency type of guy. So I can easily see him getting a Lifetime Achievement Award in the Heisman Trophy. I'm hoping to see good things out of Florida and good things out of Driscoll. I'm a Jeff Driscoll believer. I've watched Driscoll play a ton of games, you know, from high school all the way on up. That's my little take on the opening weekend of college football. Hope you guys enjoy the games. Take care. Peace.